Allies of Israel condemned a sharp rise in attacks on Palestinian civilians by Jews who are armed and who've settled in the West Bank, the other Palestinian territory, along with Gaza, which has been occupied by Israel. Religious Jews believe the land was given to them by God, and leaders of the settlers say they are protecting themselves. From the West Bank, our international editor Jeremy Bowen sent this report.
Where the Judean desert tumbles down to the River Jordan lies a tiny community of Palestinian Bedouins. It's called Arab il-Mlihat, and it looks timeless. But the shockwaves of the war in Gaza have reached here, changing lives and threatening them. The village, really just a family compound, lies a few minutes from an illegal outpost of Jewish settlers who came calling a few nights ago. Muntazar, 23-year-old son of one of 8 brothers here, videoed what happened. The settlers accused them, falsely the family said, of stealing their goats. One, wearing a police jacket, loaded his assault rifle. They thought they were about to die.
He was shooting at my uncle, so I ran down there and confronted him. We were pushing each other and screaming, head to head, and I was filming him. Then, around 20 settlers came.
Now they said they had to trust God as Israel's police and army protect the settlers. This time no one was killed. They know there'll be a next time. Before Gaza, 2 or 3 settlers with pistols might steal sheep. Now it was more than 20 with assault rifles. The settlers want to force them out, and this family believes the Israeli government has given them the weapons to do it. In 3 days of traveling through the occupied West Bank, Palestinians have said consistently that since the war in Gaza, Jewish settlers are better armed and much more aggressive. At Susia, south of Hebron, soldiers checked us out. One told an Israeli colleague that he was a traitor for visiting Palestinians. They filmed us, but took much less interest in what had happened a few miles down the road. The village of Kirbit Zanuta had been bulldozed, activists said last night. Zanuta's 200 Palestinians left 4 weeks ago after a barrage of threats from armed Jewish settlers. The school was destroyed. Britain helped fund it. The project was called Supporting Palestinians at Risk of Forcible Transfer. Activists said settlers did it to make sure the Palestinians would never come back. Someone drew Jewish Stars of David. A settler leader cancelled an interview. The police said they were waiting for a complaint. In fact, Zanuta's Palestinians have petitioned Israel's Supreme Court. We went to the village with a former Israeli Special Forces soldier who now campaigns against the occupation.
They are demolishing Palestinian villages, beating up Palestinian farmers, stealing their olives. They are trying to open a third front, an east front, against the Palestinians. Why? The Palestinian West Bank. Why? Because they want this without any Palestinians. They want the land without Palestinians.
Palestinians see all this and the rest of the settler violence on the West Bank as confirmation of their worst fears, that there are powerful elements inside Israel, in the government as well as the settler movement, who want them out and who are using the enormous crisis surrounding the Gaza war as an opportunity to further their agenda. South of Hebron, Palestinian farmers are ploughing with the donkey because local Jewish settlers have threatened to steal or break their tractor if they use it. Arabs and Jews started fighting over every grain of soil in a land both sides believe should be theirs more than a century ago. Here, it still comes down to that in every rocky field.
And we can speak to Jeremy, who's in Jerusalem now. Jeremy, in Gaza itself, more heavy bombing by Israel. What sort of reaction has there been?
Well, I think more fear and more movement from Palestinians trying to get away from all of that. The Israelis are saying that they're warning Palestinians about what they're going to do, giving them a chance to get away. The UN is very skeptical about whether the scheme the Israelis are using is actually going to work, whether it's feasible at all. The Israelis appear to be trying to cut off the city of Khan Yunis from the rest of the Gaza Strip as the focus of the next phase of their military operation. A lot of the Hamas leaders come from there, and they're hoping they might be able to get closer to killing them if they can really go in and clean the place out. However, the Americans have said to them again in the last few days that they must not kill as many Palestinian civilians as they have, and have even warned they might suffer a strategic defeat, even if they get a tactical victory, if that's what they do. You know, I think at the moment, depressingly, there is now this awful rhythm, daily rhythm of war, of the strikes, of the deaths, of the UN saying it's struggling to get the humanitarian aid in that people need. And what we have to conclude is that this is going to go on, I think, for weeks, months, into next year.